What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Doghouse. Welcome to episode 8. I'm your host, Emma, here with my co-host,
Rob. What's up, guys?
We're super hyped to be here for this week's episode. Rob, what are we talking about today?
Well, Emma, I'm glad you asked because today we're really going to get into it, guys. This isn't going to be a light episode, and we're not going to hold back, is what I'm going to say. Welcome to the social episode 8 of the Doghouse. Today, we're going to be talking about kind of the general topics of socializing, socialization, social settings, but more specifically, we're going to get into our takes, and this is where, we're not going to hold back.
Yeah, so the disclaimer for this week's podcast is this is where you, our viewers, are going to be truly be put in the doghouse.
There it is.
There it is, folks.
Finally.
I know you are waiting for it. We were also waiting for it, but we are not going to be holding back on any of these takes in this video. And we have, I think, some very strong opinions about this topic, which you will probably come to see. So just be ready for it. Yeah, we're excited.
We are excited. So with that, Emma, let's talk about the structure of the episode, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. So we are going to be structuring this episode similarly to our last couple. We're not going to get into our childhoods quite as much. Just give a little context there. And then we're going to jump right into our takes on socialization,
yes,
sociability, and all of that fun stuff. So I will go ahead and start out.
Jump right in.
As I have mentioned in a couple of past videos, I was a very quiet, shy little girl. That's how everyone would have described me, and it was true. Just sociability-wise, I didn't have the greatest social skills because I didn't talk to a ton of people. So, yeah, that's kind of my background.
Yeah, again, like every other episode where we do this, not going to get real into my childhood social backstory, but very similar to Emma. I was a very quiet, shy, reserved kid. Through high school, pretty much, I was super not antisocial. I just was not good at socializing. But I was always watching, which is key. You'll find out why later. But yeah, wasn't very social.
Yeah, so we both kind of grew up the same way. And Rob said that he was always observing. I was also always observing. We've mentioned this in past videos, but we are big observers, which is actually one of the key things that we're going to be talking about in this episode.
It's helped us out in multiple different areas of life. It paid off, but this one specifically, we think you're going to find really helpful, but it's going to be a little brutal. Yeah,
so a big thing that people say, like general statement that people say when in social settings is read the room. And that's something we're going to kind of get into right now. What does that actually mean, to read the room?
Okay.
So in general, you'd think, walk into the room and kind of, what are they talking about?
Scan, maybe.
Quick scan. We think it's a little bit more than that.
To us, reading the room is not just simply a quick scan of the physical environment, maybe who's there, maybe what they're talking about. What we're talking about, to us, reading the room goes much deeper. It involves not just reading the physical environment, but almost the emotional landscape of what's going on in that situation.
Yeah, emotional environment and emotional landscape is a very real thing.
I guess that's the right word for it.
I don't know if everyone is aware of this quite as much as they should be. And we're not saying you have to be on your tippy toes entering every social situation, not by any means. But at the same time, emotional environment is a super real thing, and it's tangible. If you can not only hear the words that the people are saying, but the looks on their faces, read their body language, their expressions,
and body language,
their tone of voice,
Yep.
all of it collectively can create an emotional environment.
And that will factor into our reading of the room, essentially.
Yeah, like if it's a little bit tenser of a situation, you think about how what you're going to say is going to come off. Is it going to make the situation more tense? And that's something with reading the room and the emotional environment that's super key, because when you're choosing how and if to insert yourself in a situation and what you're going to say, knowing that environment can help you kind of direct the direction that your interactions go.
Yeah, and by intentionally directing your contribution to that interaction, you can, like I just said, contribute in the most beneficial way to that setting, to that social situation. And kind of on the inverse side of this, let's talk about just a little bit what happens when you maybe can't or don't read the room fully and don't intentionally direct what you say.
So yeah, there can be a lot of things that come out of someone inserting themselves in a way that they shouldn't. And I think the most common one for everyone that everyone has felt probably at least in one situation every day is awkwardness. It can be a little awkward, or it can be so extremely awkward and uncomfortable. And it's just very easy to happen, and it doesn't take a ton to make a situation awkward. It can take one person coming in and saying a stupid comment, and the whole vibe will be killed.
Just think about it for 2 seconds, guys. Like, if someone's having a really bad day, maybe, and they're just really not feeling it that day, you walking in and saying the first thing that pops into your mind maybe wouldn't be the best idea. It can happen, and that's probably a really common one as well, I might add.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, is just, this is on my mind, so now it's going to come out of my mouth.
Right.
Maybe stop and think, how would saying this affect these people around me? Think about that before you say something dumb, or maybe it doesn't even have to be dumb, but just something that's not helpful.
Yes.
That's something we want to touch on, is are you benefiting the situation
by saying what you're going to say,
or are you taking away from the environment, emotional or physical, in any way?
Yeah, is it adding positively to the environment or not? That's essentially what we're trying to say here.
So now that we've kind of wrapped up talking about reading a room and social awareness, I'm going to bring up kind of the reason that this was on the forefront of our minds, this topic for today's episode, just sociability, is because we've seen a few things, especially at our place of work, that have made us lose a little faith in people's social skills. And this is where we're going to be a little brutal.
Yeah, guys, we're really going to, and I'm just going to call it out specifically. It's kind of the younger adult generation, Gen Z. I'll just say it. Us, our generation. We have some stuff to say, and we are taking you guys to the doghouse in this one.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So,
yeah, let's talk about our environment.
Our environment. We live in a college town with 2 pretty big major colleges nearby.
Big universities.
So super heavily populated, and majority of that population is Gen Z kids our age. So we are around them a lot. And
young adults.
at our workplace, we were just exposed to them quite a bit. Had a lot of interactions. So formed a lot of opinions about people's social skills, especially our generations. So gonna jump into one of the main kind of things that we observed that was just kind of like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, kind of like, are you serious? Yeah, like this, it kind of like, the reason why we're bringing it up, why we're talking about this in the first place, we were shocked, kind of baffled that people our age were coming to us as customers in our workplace and just interacting the way they did was not, we didn't think like, what we're trying to say is we were just shocked at the low level of social standards.
And the more specific point we're trying to get to here is being prepared for a professional social setting where you are a customer. So many of these college kids didn't know what they needed when they came up to the desk to us for help. What do you need help with?
Yeah.
The most baffling thing that ever happens, and this happened to me consistently, was people would come up and not say a word.
They would walk up and just wait. They would stare and wait to be helped. They wouldn't even know what they needed. Even if you said, "What can I help you with?" They don't know.
They had no idea. Kids would come in with their parents and hide behind them and not say a word. That was another thing where I was like, so you are in college now. Maybe talk to me.
That one I cannot let go. I'm sorry.
I can't let that go either.
I cannot let that one go. We work at the university gym on campus, front desk. We set up memberships and we help direct with tours, new incoming freshmen. Freshmen will come in with their mommy and daddy, and they will hide behind them as their parents do all the talking, set up their kids' membership. All the while, this is a adult, quote unquote, and it just kind of blows my mind and does not give me hope for them being able to do that without their parents.
It's just crazy to us because the way that we were raised is you're going to know how to order for yourself at a restaurant. You're going to know what you need to ask the employee before you go up. I honestly got anxiety when I first turned 16 and could go through drive-thrus by myself because I didn't know the menus well enough, and I got anxiety like making them wait, so I would look up the menus beforehand and then know exactly what I wanted to order. That's just me, but overboard. So I was pretty far the other direction from the time I was a kid. Me so it's just, that's why it's hard for us to comprehend and accept the fact that people are okay with their social skills or social level being
like, and this is a lesson in excuse me. What we're trying to say is like the lack of regard for being concise with people's time and being respectful for people's time is just what we're getting at here. Truly, that's what it affects at the end of the day. It's being courteous and respectful in a professional environment.
Yeah, like we as employees did not appreciate having to play the guessing game.
21 questions, literally. Yeah.
Every time someone like that came up to the desk and didn't know what they needed. Like, it got to the point where we were able to guess what people needed because
just on the look,
by the look on their faces. But that's not something every employee should be expected to do in every workplace environment ever. So just to be courteous of their time and their mental energy and state, just know what you need to ask.
Right, 100%. And I think this kind of connects to our first point we made earlier. It's just that all goes into the reading of the room or situation. For us, that can go into like hours before the situation even happens. We just know what we want out of the situation in general, and that helps everybody be more efficient with their time.
And we're going to kind of broaden this point out a little bit because Rob just said knowing what you want out of a situation. That point can be applied to any social situation, professional or personal, relationship wise. It's very important.
Yeah, any social relationship is or can be applied with this essentially.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, knowing what you want out of a social situation before you go in makes it easier on everybody there. You want to contribute to the conversation and just jump in. Great, go for it. Now you've contributed. You want to change the topic. Think of a respectful way to do that. And now you've changed the topic, and it's okay because that was your intention. Yeah. And no one's going to feel like that's off or has ruined the vibe because it was your intention again. And that intention is really key in all social settings.
It helps the social situation for everyone to be more productive. It helps everyone feel more comfortable in adding in a positive manner.
Yeah, 100%. Is there anything else you wanted to add on that point, Rob?
Not a ton, honestly. Just kind of more in general to reiterate just the episode. I think we're ready to maybe wrap soon.
Mm-hmm.
Awareness is probably the ultimate theme, I would say.
Yeah, and this wasn't really an advice video, but if you get anything out of this, just being more aware of situations and your surroundings is more beneficial than you think.
Yeah, and I just want to add, just to hit the point home, some of the most embarrassing moments of my life, the times where I look back and I'm like, wow, I really do not like the way I acted in that social setting. It's when I opened my mouth before I read the room, and it's when I was not aware of the time or what the context was, essentially. So
yeah, I'd have to agree with that. If you want to stop having those moments of, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed right now, reading the room and being aware will really help.
100%. But,
but thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this week's episode. We really appreciate it.
This has been episode 8 of The Doghouse. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly appreciate it. New episodes every Thursday, guys.
Follow us on our socials if you haven't yet, and we'll see you all next week.
Peace.